On today's episode of 419 by Design, we're going big, as in iconic big. We're showing you how Jeep builds the iconic Jeep Wrangler, right here at the Toledo Assembly Complex. We got a lot of ground to cover, so let's roll. Our adventure begins at the main visitor entrance. We get suited up with proper protective gear and meet with our tour guide, LAURIE St. Marie. LAURIE is the continuous improvement manager of the complex. Our tour starts at the very beginning, the stamp parts delivery loading dock. Just about all the parts for a Jeep Wrangler come through these doors. Thousands of parts come through this dock per day from dozens of vendors. Next stop, the underbody framer and framer areas. This is where the basic skeleton of the Wrangler is put together with some of those parts we saw come in on the stamp parts dock.
At this point, you basically have the functional shell of the body.
Next up, it's time to add the doors. It's here that the doors are actually put together and added to the vehicle. It's at this point that they add the hood. The system tells the robots which hood goes to which model vehicle. And it's set down the line. Because tightening these bolts is so delicate, it's very important that this is done by hand. Now that building the Wrangler body is complete, it's time to head over to assembly and the addition of one of the most recognizable parts of any Jeep.
So right here we have a decline, and we've got the painted bodies coming in. This is the first station where they're entering the general assembly process. And if you turn a little bit, you can see we're applying the badging at this station. The type of vehicle determines the type of badging. The first badge is applied, and then there's a special pressurized fixture that makes sure that it's attached to the vehicle and won't come off.
Now on to one of the more unique working environments in all the plant, the rotating carrier.
When the body enters the assembly center, and you can see that we have the rotated carriers, otherwise known as a rotisserie, and what we're doing is making it more ergonomically friendly for the operator.
Moving on through assembly, it's time to add some of the more important things to a Jeep user, the instrument panel and that iconic front end. The Wrangler features one of the most iconic and recognizable front ends in all of automotive history. And right here is where they put it on. All right, this looks familiar to me here. What am I looking at?
It's the most iconic portion of the Jeep. It's the 7-slot grille. So here we have one of the new Wrangler 4xEs, which is the new plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. And she's placing the battery into the vehicle, and it's all servo driven. And if she holds the buttons down, it actually places it in the appropriate location.
Next stop, the engine line.
So we're on the engine line right now. You can see the orange cart underneath is carrying all the parts that are needed to build up that specific powertrain, that specific engine.
Our tour continues. We're now at the point where it all comes together, body decking.
So the correct chassis and the correct body will be married together. You can see the orange carrier picking it up, and the gantry is about to lower and deck that to the chassis.
We're gonna give LAURIE a break. We're making you come in.
I'm KEISHA Grant, and I am a supervisor.
KEISHA, tell us what we're looking at.
We're looking at tires when we put our tires on our Wranglers. And so right now my employee is actually mounting the tires on the car.
We're down to one last step before a Wrangler heads out to the dealership. All right, LAURIE, here we are, the proverbial end of the line. What's going on?
So we've been through the functional checks and the cert line, ensuring the quality is correct. Now the vehicles are heading out the door for one last test on the BSR track. They'll drive them looking for bumps, squeak, and rattles, BSR.
And with that, another Jeep Wrangler is sent off into the world. And as we've seen, the iconic Wrangler is so much more than just a car. It's a rolling representation of countless hours of hard work, craftsmanship, skill, passion, and Toledo pride.